All right. We are
Hello,
live.
everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome to today's stream. I am Chair. I am here to prop you up. This is the logos.co stream of the day. Please visit immediately logos.co if you are unfamiliar with the Logos movement, the Logos technology stack, the Logos network, and what is happening in the Logos world. I am joined here today with Guru and 3 new Logos interns. They are Luis, Khadija, and Lanyon. They have just joined. We are very excited to have them. As they have come on board Logos, we have started the RealFi Hackathon, which has just gone underway. There are $4,000 in bounties up for grabs for people that submit. I'm sorry, did I say 4? I meant to say $8,000. For the best submissions that leverage Logos technology in their hackathon projects. This is very exciting. We were very excited to be part of the RealFi Hackathon. We were very excited to have the interns with us. They are Luis, Khadija, Lanyon. I think Lanyon has a presentation for us coming up about the Logos technology stack in general. If you are less familiar with what's going on with Logos, this is your opportunity to find out. We'll be doing all sorts of fun stuff over the next 60 minutes or so. We thank you for joining us. If you can, please, immediately at this time, wherever you might be watching the stream, be it X or YouTube, if you could like, subscribe, retweet, share, and most importantly, if you have questions in the chat, please drop them. We can see them. And as Ale just so eloquently said, long live Logos. Without further ado, I will pass the microphone to Lanyon, who will take us through a presentation about the Logos technology stack. Hello, Lanyon.
Hi, Chair. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, guys. My name is Lanino Abukowi, and I'm a developer advocate intern at Logos, as Chair said. So let's dive right into it. We're going to talk about the Logos technology stack from my words and, my experience with the stack, basically. So this is the tagline of the company: protect freedom, accelerate prosperity. This is who I am. I'm a developer advocate intern, and we'll cover Logos stack, its components, and developer opportunities, and everybody's opportunities really, and why it matters, why we're doing what we're doing at Logos. So Logos is a technology system designed to give people freedom and fairer communities. It works through 3 main tools: consensus, communication, and storage. So right now, as we are all aware, governments are slow, unfair, corrupt, and fixing them from the inside hasn't worked. So Logos believes the better way to build is to build new systems that can run alongside existing governments, giving people more choice and more freedom. Just like Bitcoin changed money, Logos plans to change how communities are governed. Unlike many other projects, Logos also protects your privacy while staying open, secure, and independent. It's pretty simple. People should be free to choose systems that match their values rather than being stuck with broken ones. So what is Logos? Logos is an open, decentralized technology stack that lets people create and run their own digital communities without relying on central servers or companies. It has 3 components: the secure messaging protocol, which is Waku, decentralized governance protocol, Nomos, and distributed storage protocol, Codex, to give people both personal freedom and collective power. And because it's open source, anybody anywhere can contribute: coders, designers, community builders. or anyone with amazing ideas can really just contribute. You can help improve the code, design better experiences, or shape how communities are organized. With logos, you own the infrastructure, the data, and the rules, which means you also own your future, partially. So why does logos exist? As said before, there's a problem with centralization. There's a problem with early decentralized solutions like Bitcoin, Ethereum, like Whisper here is part of the trilogy of Ethereum. And the logo solution is efficient, modular, and open source. Pretty amazing, right? So let's talk about the stack. The stack is in three components, like I said before, Waku, Nomos, and Codex. So Waku is a secure peer-to-peer messaging protocol. Nomos is for consensus and governance framework, and Codex is a decentralized layer. Each layer is modular, but they can all work together as a full ecosystem to build anything. So Waku. Waku is a suite of generalized messaging protocols aiming to be the communication standard for the web. It enables private and secure human to human, machine to machine, and human to machine communication without reliance on centralized intermediaries. Um, so messaging through Waku is possible from one person to one person or many people to many people. Basically serves as the communications layer for the logo stack. So it's a stack. Like I said, we have three components. So Waku is the communication layer of the stack, alongside the trustless agreement layer, which is Nomos, and the storage layer, which is Codex. In simpler terms, you can think of Waku like a secure censorship-proof version of WhatsApp or Slack, but without centralized servers. So this servers for WhatsApp and Slack are stored somewhere in, I think, San Francisco or across the world. And unlike those platforms, Waku promotes not using centralized servers. So messages flow directly between peers. They do not go through a company. So Waku is a successor to Whisper. Whisper is one of the holy trilogy of Ethereum. There's a full article on that. I'm going to share it before we end the live stream. So it talks about the three things that Ethereum was built on. So it's a successor to Whisper. It supports light, full, and historic nodes, and topic based routing and sharding improves scalability. So for use cases, the most simplistic use cases is just an encrypted messaging app, DAO coordination tools, or cross-chain communication between blockchains, basically. So now let's talk about Nomos consensus. So Nomos was created to be the infrastructure facilitating the creation of network states and enabling people to easily interact with them. Using Nomos, network states are implemented as lightweight blockchains known as zones with an underlying chain, providing consensus, security, and interoperability. Importantly, network states implemented on Nomos allow for social order to emerge and govern the operations while preserving critical properties that guarantee individual freedom for each and every participant. So, as always, in simpler terms, it is the rulebook communities use to make decisions without needing a central boss, and it helps groups vote, coordinate, and reach agreements fairly without no one organization or person holding, the key to accessing these results. So efficient consensus, even in adversarial environments, permissionless participation, you do not need permission to participate, and modular governance. So use cases are DAO decision making, voting and all that, community-driven governance models, and decentralized organizations. And finally, we have Codex. So Codex is a decentralized data storage that provides exceptionally strong censorship resistance and durability guarantees. Is the storage layer for logos, and unlike centralized storage layers like Dropbox, Google, and all of that, Codex is decentralized. So you can think of Codex like Dropbox or Google Drive, but no single company controls or can access your files or even delete them. So once stored, data remains accessible, even if some servers are not online. So features include peer-to-peer content addressing, redundancy and long-term availability, works with Waku, as stated before. It's modular, but it works with Waku for combined data and messaging flows. So use cases, document archives, censorship resistant publishing, and decentralized hosting for decentralized apps. So crew credits, we have Guru, the lead advocate. We have Khadija, which is blockchain buddy, my fellow intern, and Louis, my fellow intern as well. Sorry, Chair, I didn't remember to add you. I'm so sorry. And yes, if you would like to read more resources, you could just go to logos.co, and from there you find each and every of these links that I've pasted here. I hope that was a very simplistic explanation. Thank you for your
Made
time.
sense to me. Thank you, Ian.
I just realized we
Happy.
can't even react. Maybe I just don't know how to figure that out.
I've been
Oh, we
looking
don't
for
have
the
the
button
live
too.
emoji reactions
Yeah, we don't have
Yes,
feature.
that.
We have I think this is a very useful slide right here, and it has all of the links, the relevant links to all the different areas or some of the different areas of the Logos technology stack. And you could see it there, docs, really anything. If you're looking to learn more immediately, if you prefix the URL with docs dot blank, it's a good place to start. Docs.waku, docs.codex, nomos.tech, the discords, and soon the status communities. Thank you very much, Lanyon. I do implore everyone who is interested to visit those links thusly and save them and bookmark them and reference them and follow all of the Logos accounts across the interwebs. Well, thank you, Lanyon. Up next, we have Guru who will take us through some of the hackathon details, the bounty details, how and where to register immediately. Without further ado, Guru.
Hey everyone. So today I'll be uh, introducing you about the Real Fi Hackathon, the latest hackathon that Logos have collaborated with. We have two amazing bounties over there. I'm just going to share a quick few words about the kind of submissions that we are looking forward for these bounties. You can find the link to register for the Real Fi Hackathon right over here, and we have bounties worth $8,000, just like I mentioned before. And to look at the bounties, we have two distinct tracks. The first track being the Resilient Activist Technology track. I think this is really in trend right now after what happened in Nepal with their recent change in the parliament. Uh, so I think they even had a crazy voting take place in Discord, and something like status can replace it outright at this moment. And we have all the functional aspects already in place for a resilient technology that can replace something like Discord. And yeah, for the first track is completely focused on that. We have a lot of example use cases mentioned right in the link that is shared below. Please feel free to check out these use cases. You can also check out more use cases in a different link, which is a part of the Waku Hackathon resources. I'm going to put up the QR code for it in a bit. Yeah, we have the example apps. You can scan the QR on the top left to view the example apps that have already been implemented on Waku. We also have an ideas repository, which is available at ideas.waku.org, which has community curated ideas, which pretty much fall in both of these tracks. So make sure to check them out. And for the second track, which is the logos and Tor privacy infrastructure track, we are looking for ideas that blend in uh, Tor along with the logos technologies like Waku, Nimbus, Codex, or even Nomos, although it's still being developed behind the hood at this point. But all of these projects are open source. You can dig into the repositories to learn more about them. Waku is pretty much way ahead of them in terms of the maturity. We even have an excellent docs available for you to get started with Waku. And we also have a live coding session with Lewis today, where he'll be building something with Waku in the next uh, few minutes. So yeah, that's pretty much about these tracks. You can find more information about them uh, in the links that I've shared. I'll also be putting up the QR codes. So this is the QR code that you should be scanning to learn more about the Resilient Activist track. And the second QR code for the second track is over here, which is the privacy infrastructure track. Feel free to join our Discord. to learn more about these tracks if you have any questions. And yeah, happy to help you async on Discord. I'll give the stage back to Chair to tell us what's coming up next.
Well, the call to action is clear. Go now, quickly, with haste, and register for the hackathon. Did I mention there are $8,000 in bounties ready for you to claim with your excellent submission that leverages Logos technology? Okay, up next,
If you
quickly,
guys don't
we
register,
will.
we're going to register and then get all the 8K to ourselves.
Yeah, don't make me register under a pseudonym. Don't make me throw my hat into the ring, because I will. I won't. All right, folks. Let's now quickly, before we get in, and those of you who have stuck around, I thank you very much. And if you have not yet liked, shared, retweeted, subscribed to the Logos YouTube, please do so now. At this time, I would like to review the use cases that we would like to see built towards. No, that's not the right way to say it. Let's review quickly the solutions that we are trying to build towards for this hackathon specifically. Khadija, Luis, you have a few examples that people can work from, can start building towards, can use as inspiration as they head into the hackathon. And what might those use cases be? Luis, Khadija?
Okay, who's going first? Okay, I'll just go first. Okay,
Claim
so so there are some use cases on the hackathon page. So while going through them, I figured some might be very, very advanced because we have like different levels of people that might want to join the hackathon. So I created like a list of beginner friendly, ideas that someone that is just getting into like the Logos ecosystem can explore. I think the first on my list is a wallet tracker app that queries balances via stealth RPC endpoints instead of public ones. Then I also have this one's quite interesting. It's called an anonymous tip jar. So it's just like a simple dApp that lets creators or journalists or anyone, receive small payments without revealing their identity. So when they connect their wallet, they generate like a unique link and then they share it. So people on the other end would not know who owns like the link, right? So you're donating to people and without them revealing their identity. Then I think the last on my list is okay. I like this one. So it's called sorry. I'm just trying to get this. Okay, yeah. So this is a privacy protected voting app. So if you have any questions about like these ideas that I'm dropping, you can put them in the comment section, or you can, and then we'll go over it. And then whenever we are having like, maybe whenever there's a workshop, I can also join the calls. So this is a privacy protected voting app where users can vote on community issues using ZK proofs. So how does this work? So it shows that it proves that they have one vote without revealing their identity. So it's just very simple, implementing, Logos tech stacks and all of that. So those are the three beginner friendly ideas I have that are different from the ones on the hackathon page. Yeah. So happy to talk more about it and explain more. Thank you.
Wonderful, folks. Now, if you visit the hackathon page, those use cases are listed there. Certainly, if you are not sure what the most effective, impactful thing that there is to build, you can certainly reach out and query. And I think everyone has their own opinion about what they'd like to see built out of this hackathon. So just to review, CRMs, surveys, task and project management, protest and crowd safety, storytelling and documentation. Here's my personal favorite: whistleblowing and evidence submission, governance and decision making, mapping, data visualization, and reporting. All of these things, you might be saying, well, all of these applications already exist. Well, they don't already exist in a purely private way, and they do not exist yet, leveraging the Logos stack. And that is the objective. That is the North Star. Moving quickly, swiftly, and boldly into the meat of the sandwich here, we have Luis that will take us through a vibe coding session leveraging Waku. I'm excited for this one. Hello, Luis. What do you have in store for us today?
Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to be coding a really cool application using Waku. This is basically a polling app. It's one of the use cases for the hackathon that you can build with the Logos stack using Waku. So this is the application. This involved is basically a polling application using the Waku network for the data distribution. With identity of the user based on a public and private key. And that's it. No usernames, no names, no last names, no emails, no phones, numbers, no everything. Just a public key to sync your votes in the application. So this is the app right now running on Vercel. And the repo is here. The repo is already built, and it's on my GitHub. So after the session, I will to put this link in the comments in YouTube and the Twitter too. So, but basically the repo is really organized, really clear to understand how Waku works, how to integrate Waku in a React application or Next.js application, for example. And this repo is built using Cloud Code. So if you come to the final of the README, the end of the README, example here in Docs Workshops initial prompt, you're going to see the prompt that I use it to build the repo with Cloud Code, and also with other technical documentation about Waku, about different guides about how to integrate different part of the Waku protocol. It's already documented here, and really helpful for Cloud Code or another LLMs that you want to use to code. So let's move to the by coding session right now. So here I have my Visual Studio Code empty folder. Here is the documentation that I already mentioned. Here is the core files. This is all the context for the application that Cloud Code going to use to build the application. Also some Waku concepts about the different part of the protocol. For example, what is a line node? That is basically a node for help you to connect with the Waku network. For example, what is the SOR protocol that they help you to retrieve the historical messages in the network with your application. Also, how the identities works with cryptographic methods to create the identities, the public key and the private key, and also the flow of the application. It's explained here, some guides, for example, the component structure of the application, the development setup, about how to install the dependencies, the Waku dependencies, how to install the React dependencies that we are going to use, how to set the configs for some specific files in the repo. Also, how the state management works between the Waku services and the React host, the UI components, how the voting logic works. So how we can register voting in the app or even a poll, and also the technical part more related with architecture, diff analyze architecture, already documented here. The real-time system to get the votes and polls from the Waku network using different channels. Some implementation guides for each part of the Waku protocol, and also the docs for the workshop is here. So here we have the initial prompt and also the development phases from phase 0 to phase 6, I think, because we are going to build this in an interactive way by phases, step by step. So let's begin, and also some phases explanation here. So let's begin. I'm going to invoke the cloud code for this session. So I'm going to use the initial prompt. So let's analyze file. I'm going to copy the relative path. So from the file. So right now, Cloud Code is analyzing the file, analyzing the initial prompt to build, and this prompt going to tell to Cloud Code to move to this other document development phases, and here is where when Cloud Code start developing the application from phase 0 with the context and understanding to the last step or phase that it's the application complete. So perfect complete feature. So all right. Yeah. So cool. For the phase 1, that is the project foundation, we are going to use a React application built with okay, yes. Here, Cloud Code is basically creating all the setup for the application based on different prompts on the guides. So we are going to use React with create React application. It's a simple npm package to create React with TypeScript in this case. And we are going to config some different files to install dependencies and other things that is more related with the setup of the application.
Anybody love the new in progress words that Claude has been using lately? Schlepping,
Yeah, Cloud Code is
simmering,
wonderful with this. It's
combobulating.
wonderful. The step by step, as we can see here, with all the steps that Cloud Code is going to do to build application. So allow this batch command. Yes, here Cloud Code going to install all the Waku dependencies. We are using Waku SDK 0.035. That is the latest version of the protocol. We're using Protooth to create some binary files to send the polls, the votings to the Waku network, and also message encryptation dependencies that it uses to set the identity keys for the users, and also some Waku utils. The identity keys is based on the so public key and private key. The private key is storage in the browser of the user, and the public key too, but the public key is used to sync the transactions or basically the message or data that we send to the Waku network. So here we have other dependencies more related with the project, like Krakow, for example, to manage dependency conversion between Node.js and the browser, and also another dependencies. Oh, here we have the package JSON. Let's analyze the package JSON a little bit. So here we have, okay, Cloud Code is basically creating some configs file. Yes. So here we can see that we have all the Waku dependencies already installed, the latest version of the protocol, and the documentation for the Waku is here in the Waku page. I'm going to show the documentation right now. Basically, this is the Waku page, and the documentation is here. It's a really complete documentation to use Waku, some diagrams explaining the protocol, but we have different SDKs to build in different language. But the main SDK is the JavaScript SDK that allows you to build in React, Next.js, or JavaScript TypeScript applications. Also, we have another SDK in Go and also Rust to build in different language. So you can see all the parts of the protocols. Everything is really documented. Different methods send and receive messages in the network, or for example, the encrypt and decrypt for the messages. Also, we have a scaffold command, npx create Waku app. This is a scaffold to build your template from scratch based on a previous template, different template that we have here in the documentation. So what is happening with Cloud Code? Yes. So in this point, Cloud Code is creating all the files according to the structure of the repo. We can see here. So we have the document folder, hooks, services, styles, utils, and other configs files. So phase one, ready? And let's move with the phase two. The phase two is based in the core Waku integration, make the hooks for the Waku connection and all the components around. So this is the summary about what we did during this phase, basically. So the completed task, install dependencies, create the repo, modular folders, structure, and something like that. So yeah, let's go with phase. So in this phase, we are going to create the core Waku integration. So establish the connectivity with the centralized configuration identity system. We are going to create a Waku config file that will be host all the connection using the Bootstrap nodes. The Bootstrap nodes are, so the application, your React application works as an light node that is basically a little node that allows you to connect with the Waku network, with the full nodes of the network. So for this, we need bootstrapped peers or nodes that basically help you to connect with the network based on a string and we need to manage some timeouts for the connection. Another we are going to set the topics. So here, let's see how the Waku connection works. Basically, here we have the import of from some dependencies. So we have the class, and here is where when we do the connection. So here we call the create light node for your application, and also use the bootstrapped node set in the files. So let's continue to explain this.
As Claude ruminates, I would like to ask everyone who might be with us, and we have hit a rather exciting milestone. Whether you're on YouTube or X, please like, subscribe, share the stream you are watching now. And if you have questions, please submit them in the chat. We can see them. We will answer. Someone will answer.
I do have a question for Lewis until this is done. Oh, looks like it's done. But yeah, I have a quick question. So, can you also give us a quick few words about the protocols that you're using? I know you're using light push and filter, but can you also give us some insight on what the
Yes.
protocols are used for?
Yes, of course. So in this part, we're creating the identities, as you can see, the file identity service to create your public and private key as a user to that will be your identity inside the application and the Waku network. But more related with your question, Guru, yeah, in the latest version of the SDK that we are using right now, we have a protocol called Reliable Channel. So Reliable Channel is basically a part of the protocol that helps you as a developer integrating with the integration of the light push protocol and also with the filter and storage protocol. So it works as an abstraction of these three protocols. So for this application, we are going to use this reliable channel. And in the background, we are using a filter protocol that is to get the message from the Waku network, and also we send your message to the network. In this case, to send a poll when you create a poll on to send a vote. Also, the stores protocol helps you to storage all the communications, all the messages, because in some cases, you as a user going to be offline. So when you reconnect again to the application, um, we need to get all the message during the time that you say disconnected. So and the other part is basically yeah the error handling or the error management related with all the parts of the protocol that Reliable Channel manage for you. So the main protocol here is Reliable Channel that works as an abstraction or involves these other protocols behind the scenes during the Waku connection and the communication with the network. So right now we have the app file with all the configs. So yes, and right now we have here in services the identity service to create the keys. Also, we have the Waku services to manage the connection to the Waku network using your light node. That your light node connect to the full node in the network using some bootstrapped peers that are some specific directions to connect to connect you with the network. Right now, okay, yes, an import related with the React dependencies. So basically, here is the main file for your connection, and also in components, we have the connection status, a simple component that will help you to see if you are already connected to the network and how many peers you have in real time. The peers is basically the nodes that in the Waku network. So step 2, complete the Waku integration. Here we can see the summary. Basically, Waku config that centralizes the configuration for the network, the Waku service that initialize your light node with some retry logic to manage possible errors around your connection. So also the identity service for the cryptographic part to configure identity as a keys, and also the connection status to communicate with the UI of the application. So right now we can run the command npm start to see how it works. Start. And here I have the results.
Shout
Okay,
out to
the UI.
G-Talic in the audience.
So now we can see the so it's a basic interface, but right now we're managing the Waku network connection. As you can see here, we are connected to the network. This is my identity, my public key. It's like a wallet address, but it's not a wallet. And in the logs, we can see, so we can see here some initial logs. Waku like not created, Waku like not started, uh, connections, and the log that confirms that we are connected to the network successfully. Also, all of these errors that you are see this like WebSocket connection is normal, is because the application is trying to connect to different nodes around the world. So this is just in case of in the case of we lost the connection. So basically, it's working successfully. So go back to the code and continue with the phase number 3. This step involves basically the implementation of the data validation for your polls and for schemas. So basically, protobuf is a protocol that helps you to send the data to the Waku network. Where so in a real world or in a Web2 world, we use a JSON to communicate with APIs. So in this case, JSON file is really so it's really difficult for the Waku network. It's really demands a lot of storage. So basically, Protobus works as a binary JSON to send the data to the Waku network, and also it's more secure because encrypt the data that you are sending to the network. So basically, here we are going to create this schema. As you can see, this is the schema for the polls. That is basically an ID for the poll, the question, the options created by, and the timestamp created by. This basically your public key. And the schema for the votes is this, that of course we need to use a poll ID, an option index, and the voter public key to sync the vote, and also the signature and the timestamp. So let's create this file, this simple TypeScript file with some interface for this, and some methods or functions to encode or decode the data before send the data to the network. So as you can see in the task here that we have in the documentation, so define the protobuf schemas, that is the first step. Also implement a data validator model, basically to manage some validations related with the polls, with the votes, and the other things related with the data that we are going to send to the Waku network during the poll or during the votes. And also some utility functions to make this possible. So here we have the data validator class. So in this case, we are validating the poll. Basically, it's a complete poll. It's not null, it's not undefined, and the attributes for the poll object. So let's create this file. And also this file going to validate the votes for the user.
Meanwhile, we have some questions that have come up from our stream. The first question is Is Waku a wallet to wallet communication? I think a lot of people have this misconception of Waku being a chat protocol, but chat is just one specific use case of Waku. So, inherently, Waku does not have any identities inbuilt to it, just like Louis mentioned. So we will have to generate an identity by ourselves. This can be a wallet address, or this can also be a hash that you generate on your own in the client side. But yeah, it does not have any identity as a compulsion. And we also have another question. What is the difference between filter and store? Lewis, do you want to take this question?
Yeah, yes. So basically, filter protocol is the part of the protocol that help you with sending the data to the Waku network. So when I send a poll, I am using the filter protocol to send this poll in the network, and the nodes inside the network going to distribute this poll around all the other users that it says subscribed to my poll. And the same thing for the boat. When you send a boat into a poll, basically you're going to use the filter protocol to send this data across all the network. So the storage protocol is basically used for storage all the polls for a user and the boats for the time that the user is not connected in the application or in the network. So imagine I going right now to the application, make some polls, some votes, and make some polls. And after that, I disconnect and go to my work, go to the gym, go to another site, and go back after 3 hours. So basically, during this time, other users send polls to the network, so to the channels. And when I go back, I need to get all this data. So the storage protocol works to help you to fetch the data during the time that you was disconnected in the network, because when you are connected you use the real-time communication. That is a bilateral communication between you, that you are the node C, and we communicate with other nodes like the node B, for example. So when you are connected, you are using real-time with filter protocol, um, and when you are disconnected, we use storage to get the
Yeah,
data.
I just wanted to make a quick correction here. I also have a infographic that could be useful. Uh, Let me try to bring it up. I'm not sure how to bring it up. Give me one moment, but then this is going to be very useful because it helps you understand the three main light protocols in a simple way. What Lewis said about ephemerality is true. With store, you get ephemeral messages where the messages will be stored for a bit, whereas filter will not store the messages. It's more for real-time communication. But here's a quick overview of the protocols that we are using here. There's light push, filter, and store. So if you have a data which can be a message, just like the one on the left, you send the message into a Waku content topic using light push. And content topics are basically namespaces in the network, and you can send a message or a data blob into a content topic. And this is how we segregate all the messages and data in the network. And to receive the message from a content topic, you use filter protocol. But alternatively, if you want some kind of caching mechanism that kind of caches the message for a bit of time, you use the protocol called store. So sending the data is with light push, but for receiving, you have two options. If it's real time receiving, it's filter, or if you're going to receive it uh, later after some point, it's going to be with store. But yeah, that was spot on with the distinction between filter and store. I just wanted to make that quick correction about the light push part.
Perfect. Thanks, Guru. So at this point, we have already completed step 3. So basically, we already have the data validation and schemas, protobuf schema to send the data based on different interface, an interface for the poll data, an interface for the poll data. Also, the data validator file to validate polls, validate votes, different data. And also the data utils that it works as a auxiliary file to help the application. So at this point, I think I have a lot of issues in the application, but it's normal. Also, are issues related with TypeScript. So we're going to check. So wait. So,
Ooh, we have an interesting question from Hav. Maybe we can put that in the queue. I never know if it's Zav or Hav. I assume it's Hav. But you know what happens when you assume.
so right now we are fixing some issues related with, yeah, uh, I can see the question. Uh, we have a question in the chat or no?
Yep, I just put it up on the Jumbotron. The question is about how Waku works over Tor. Are there Waku nodes accessible through Tor right now? I can answer this question. Uh, Tor is a completely different privacy framework when compared to Waku, although there are use cases which both of them can solve. Uh, the way that I personally look at Tor and Waku is that Tor is like a dial-up connection. You just dial up into Tor, and you can't use it in a Web 2 setup. It's a completely different part of the internet. It's a completely different network. But with Waku, it can be readily integrated into the existing Web 2 projects because this still operates within the layers of the internet. Uh, yeah, that's the simplest explanation I can give for this. And there are no Waku nodes accessible through Tor as of now, although there's like a lot of developers looking at integrations between Tor and Waku, especially at this hackathon. So yeah, we will have a better answer for the opportunities that uh, let Waku and Tor coexist in a solution after the hackathon, hopefully. Oh, we also have another question. This is from Discord. What is the max size of data that can be sent using Waku? Can it be used for sending files like 1 GB? So Waku is not useful in sending bigger file sizes simply because it's meant to be a general purpose communications network. But the way you can share bigger file sizes is by using a decentralized storage network like Codex, saving your file on a content address network like Codex, generating the CID, and then transferring the CID using Waku. So Waku is just used for metadata transport and not for file sizes that are huge, like 1 GB. And the max limit, as far as I remember, is 1 MB. So yeah, you can have ideally you should have file sizes that are just a few kilobytes, but yeah, this is the best way to implement a scalable system where you get to share bigger file sizes. And also I have this question for Lewis. What is the object like for the polls? Can you show us the protobuf definition again? I might have missed it, but yeah, I think it's worth looking at it again just to see how you template the protobuf object for the polls.
Yes. So this is the protobuf schemas file to manage this. So in this case, this is the schema for the poll data that we are using the ID of the poll, the question options, and the timestamp for the poll, and also for the vote data structure. We are using the poll ID, option index, the voter public key, and the signature, and of course the timestamp. So basically, this is the schema for both. We are using also a TypeScript interface to manage this. And also here is the functions to encode and decode the pod object, and also for the pod object is here. So yeah, basically this is the structure. Uh,
All right. I have a question about content topics, so I can also bring this up over here. So, content topics, as I mentioned before, are the way in which the network is partitioned for ensuring that the receiver and the sender are using a common namespace for communication. So, uh, I also believe we have a content topic configured here. Do you mind going to the content topic?
oh yes. So let me see where is the content topic created. Basically, this is the Waku service, but it's not.
Should hopefully be in the node initialization part, or maybe in the constants, or maybe the Waku config, the file, that file.
Yes, it's
Yep.
here.
No, that's the, yeah, we can see the content topics below that. That's the peers, and you can see the, yeah. So content topics, as I mentioned, are the way in which we partition the network. Not partition, but that's the namespaces that I use for uh, signaling between the sender and the receiver. And we have a template for this. This can be found in the documentation site, which Lewis showed earlier. So the first one, descend vote in his content topic, is the name of the application, and followed by the version, and later followed by the content topic name or the category name. For example, if you have multiple features within your application, something like messages, you can also have another category instead of polls called messages. And finally, we use the type of encoding. And Lewis is using protobufs, so it's proto, but there are also other encoding
Yes,
options available. But yeah, this is how content topics work, and you can send the data into a content topic, and you can receive data from a content topic with filter. So yeah, I think we are good until now. I hope everything is clear. But if you have any questions, again, feel free to drop them in the comments, and we'll be happy to answer them on the go.
yes, perfect. So let's continue with the step 4. So this step is related with the reliable channel integration, that is basically the part of the protocol that allows you to use the light push protocol, the filter protocol, and the store protocol. So for this, we need a channel manager that manage your instances. This is like a database instance. So we only need one instance of the readable channel. So this file going to manage this instance, and also the data processor that handles incoming data processing in the buffer. So we here we can have a buffer to manage the data. So right now, so yeah, in this point, Cloud is creating the channel manager, a file for the manage the instance with the protocol. So we can see a function to create a channel. So also a try catch block for manage the instance connection, and also some different methods to get the instance to validate that we already has a channel, and get the topics from the channel that we are going to use. And also an important method that is close the channel. This method is really important to have because when you close your application, we need to close the channel to don't keep the connection open, because it's not necessary. So another file is the data processor to handle incoming data. That is the file that Cloud Code is right now creating. Also, identify the storage error patcher to manage some different protocol, some error related with the protocol in some cases. And also, the step 2 is implementation of the reliable channel service that it serves as an orchestra orchestrator for the channel and the protocol in this application. So this file is going to publish the, so okay, this is the data processor file. So basically, here we have some methods to set ready different states and also process the polls and process incoming polls data and process incoming votes for a poll, for example, in this case. So let's create a file and continue explaining this part. So the readable channel service is the main point to publishing the polls and votes and communicate with other part of the Waku config. Uh, Also, the real-time subscription with automatic buffering. When you are connected, you are using the real-time to connect with the Waku network. It's like a um, bilateral connection that keep your channel, your status or your client synchronized with the network. And right now we have the file to manage some errors related with the storage in some cases. So, for example, if no peers available or if no query available, so we need to manage this error to don't to not generate conflicts with the user in the interface. So also we have here the documentation that Cloud Code is using to create this step of the development. And the final step in this point is the data service that it works as an API for the application to communicate easily between all the files and all the configs inside. So it's a single interface for all the operations and manage the integration with the reliable channel protocol. So in this case, this is the service for the reliable channel. So some responsibilities is basically publish polls and votes via the reliable channel protocol, subscribe to incoming polls on incoming votes by other users in the network, and also handle the real-time data processing with the buffer to keep the data organized in the way that the data is presented to the user. So let's create the file. The file have their constructor and also some different methods to publish the poll to the network via reliable channel. Reliable channel is a new feature in the latest version of the SDK. And other methods to publish the votes and also to subscribe to different polls. So let's create this file. Share how many audience we have right now in the live stream.
I can't see it, but I think a guru can see.
Yeah, we've hit
Or
350, which is cool.
Folks, 350 of you have tuned in. A number of you are still with us. And if you have not yet subscribed, liked, retweeted, shared, I implore you to do so now and to turn notifications on for the Logos YouTube channel specifically, as there is a ton of content, a deluge of content coming your way. And if you are looking to stay up to date, and there are many reasons to stay up to date with what's happening to Logos, that's one good way to do it.
I feel like this particular workshop is like giving a plain ass cheat code for an exam, because Lewis already formulated the whole documentation and the context that you need to give the AI to build something with Waku. So all you have to do is to grab these contexts from his repository, brainstorm an idea, and then just give Cloud Code the access to do whatever you're trying to do. So that's as simple as that for building a prototype for the hackathon. So you're missing out if you're not submitting a project. We have bounties worth $8,000, like I mentioned before, and you can go ahead to register for the hackathon in this particular link. We have two different tracks. You can learn more about these tracks in this particular link. So make sure to submit it by the deadline to stand a chance to grab a part of the prize pool that we have.
Are they
Yeah,
allowed
this
to
kind of
build? Sorry, are they allowed to build what Louis just built?
You know, you never know. You can always be pseudonymous. But yeah, I feel like Lewis has done a great job in
Yeah.
simplifying the whole vibe coding setup for us with Waku. And I feel like this can pretty much help you build anything on top of Waku that leverage decentralized communications.
yeah, basically it's really helpful for all developers to have a repo well documented around different part of the protocol, and also simplify the things for the AI, because without context, an LLM cannot build with Waku, because it's an emerging tech. The documentation is really new. So this patch command, yeah, right now it's fixing some errors related with the build of the application. So the other steps based on the work with the documentation appears a resolution will be different. What is happening? The resolution will need to be verified by next work with the documentation. So now I need to check this. So let's fix this, because this is working in the versatile application. So I think it's an error related with the channel. Okay, it's related with the channel manager, but it's error related with the build. So uh, so let's analyze this, this code. This code is an example for the channel manager. So this is the example of the repo that I already have in Vercel to see what is the errors. So yeah, Cloud Code have some conflicts with the reliable channel API. So maybe a lack in the context or something like that. So LLM is not perfect. So basically, in some cases, he do the things a little bit bad. But this is the importance of have a documentation or have an example repo to help Cloud Code to fix these uh, kind of errors.
Speaking of reliable channels, that's work that Waku lead Frank has recently pushed, and Václav V. Pavlin on Twitter has recently created a calendar, a shared calendar that leverages said channels, reliable channels.
Yeah, shout out to Vaslav and Frank for that, because Lewis also mentioned that the repository was useful in building this particular polling app. I think this is probably the most up to date example or code reference of Waku that is available. So make sure to check that repository out as well. And yeah, the repository which was shared earlier with the code for this particular polling app also works. So yeah, two great references for you to look at to build on top of Waku already.
Yes, maybe Guru, you can share the repo right now in the
Mhm.
comments in the live stream. I'm going to send you the link.
Yep, I'm gonna do that in a bit.
So
Yep, shared it to the comments. So
and this is just one of the use cases we can build with Waku. So the most popular case is the chat application or messenger app, but Waku it's built to go beyond of a simple message application. So we can build a polling app, dApps for governance, that for take decisions in the communities or something like that, or just to simple manage the communication between two applications in a Web2 space, for example, or why not use Waku in games to manage the communication of the players, for example. So imagine Fortnite using Waku, or imagine Call of Duty using Waku for the chat or something like that. So the idea is not thinking in Waku. So do not think in Waku as a messenger protocol. So think in Waku as a communication protocol for data in whatever of the context that you want to build.
Tomorrow we will be vibe coding with Waku right here on the Logos channel once again with Waku research engineer SP. I invite you to tune in for that. That is tomorrow right here where you are now. Tomorrow.
Really helpful sessions for tomorrow to help the people in the hackathon too. So workshop is an excellent method to understand the protocol, to understand the code base, different kind of integration with different clients. So join us to the other workshop. Let's fix all the things.
Once again, if you are interested in a piece of those, not $4,000, but $8,000 in bounties. Oh, and there they are. There's the link right there, fundingthecommons.io/hackathon. Get signed up, get hacking, leverage Logos tech. That's money in your pocket. That's money in your pocket. Oh, it's noticing those 0.35 SDK changes.
There's also an interesting observation that Vaslav made from a builder yesterday. The Bootstrap node or the Bootstrap fleet that Waku is currently running is a bit wobbly at some times. So the best way to get rid of this problem would be to use your own Bootstrap nodes. And the example of this is also found in this particular voting applications code base on GitHub. All you have to do is in your node initialization, where you create your light node, you'll have to set Bootstrap to false and use the Bootstrap nodes that can be found in this code base. And yeah, you can just find it on the create light node uh, code snippet of this particular GitHub repository, and it works well. A lot more reliable than the Bootstrap nodes, in my opinion. Or you can also steal Vaslav's Bootstrap node. It's already available public on Twitter. I just saw him commenting a builder's query. So you can go to his profile, head on to the replies, and copy paste the node URL
Yeah,
from there.
I also want to talk about like the hackathon. Like for the submission, I think it's very essential for people to know, like, what they need to do when they're about to submit. And one of the most important thing is the documentation part. So I think that's like the part where they will have to like explain what they are building. They could just do like maybe 2 to 4 slides, or maybe have like a diagram to sort of like show, how the product works. I know there will be like a demo video, but documentation is also something very important, because the judges checking the project, might need more, context to your product, or to your project rather. So that's just an advice for people doing the hackathon.
Yeah, that's definitely a great piece of advice, especially when Vibecoding can solve your implementation part. Creating a nice looking human readable README for your repository would be really helpful in not just helping people understand about your project, but also in understanding how to contribute to the project further. It's super nice to have a contribution guide below. But yeah,
So errors fixed. So right now we are moving with the step 5, the poll management system. That basically this is the hooks for React to manage the communications between the UI and the all the configs, all the Waku configs, all the different services that we already built. So we are going to create 3 different hooks. Basically, they use polls to manage the polls in general, use votes to manage the votes and the submission of the votes, and also the use identity that manage the identity related with the public and private keys to identify the user in the network. So also these hooks is driven by the documentation. So it's the component structure is well explained in the documentation. So in this case, Clockwork is creating a user identity to manage the different keys and identities of the user. So the identity is storage in the local storage of your browser. It should clean the local storage. Basically, when you connect again to the application, you need to create a new keys, but so the key is creatable for the by the application. So you as a user don't need to to set anything to create this, because the identity is created in the background by the application. So this is the poll creation UI, basically the components for the UI. And after this step, we can see in the UI the application, the UI application ready. And the last step 6 is basically create the voting system, or implement the voting system to catch all the votes and send the votes throw the UI components to the Waku network using all the configuration that we set before. And so,
All right. I just wanted to give a quick note for the last 6 minutes of the stream. We have 6 more minutes. I hope we'll be able to complete within time. But anyways, I already have a cool project idea that you can build on top of what Lewis has. I would love to see this polling app use a Ethereum address as the identity rather than generating a random address, so that people can also build some sort of reputation by participating in these polls on their Ethereum address. So yeah, this could be a cool idea where you can replace the current code base, current identity of random addresses with Ethereum addresses, and maybe also letting people connect their own wallet. That could be a cool addition to this, like a cool contribution that you can make to Lewis project that Lewis has built.
so yeah, let's continue. Yeah,
So
will be awesome to see this in the Ethereum ecosystem to take decisions in the governance side.
yeah, this an interesting project authored by the privacy scaling explorations called Maci, MACI. It's a pretty cool tech for creating uh, decentralized polling, and I think this is just a, you know, smaller version of what Macy is doing without the ZK parts. So yeah, this is pretty cool for the amount of time that you invest, and also a great way to learn Waku. Uh, I also have another question to do is what was the hardest part in your whole, what was the most challenging part when you were trying to build this app?
Yes, so for me, um, I spent all my last week building this. And the most difficult part is with I think it's with the integration side because uh, logos and Waku stack is really complex. So we need to understand first how it works, how the protocol works, different parts, how integrate the protocol with an application. So the most difficult part is related with that. So go to other projects uh, built by the community and see how this project integrate the protocol, and, and look for the most update projects because we have projects built from 1 year, and also another projects built from 2 weeks or maybe 1 month ago. So use this project as a reference to build, in this case, this application, this polling application. But yeah, the integration part is the most tricky part because you as a developer can integrate in different ways some the same protocol. So it's difficult to find an standard or universal way to integrate the protocol. But right now, this repo works as a template for builders to build whatever you want to build, not polling up, because here we have the integration of the Waku protocol. Yeah, focus on a polling up, but behind the scenes, basically the different part of the integration is the same for all the projects. So it's a good template. But yeah, the integration part is the most tricky part.
Right. So when the AI is doing the final job, I will also share a couple of resources. Uh, just like Lewis mentioned, Waku can sound complex. The whole logos technology stack can sound complex. So the best way to approach this would be to conceptually understand this before going to the implementation part. And a cool resource that I have for this is the guide available in the Waku docs, where you get to learn about the architecture of Waku and not just the implementation part. So head over to this link if you'd like to know more about content topics, the architecture of the network itself, the different protocols. Waku research lead Hanno has also shipped out a lot of RFCs with the other authors in the past. So all of these are available in the docs website. So make sure to check these out before you head on to the actual implementation, and that's going to be a lot easier for you. And finally, we also have an awesome Waku collection in this particular repository. You can go to this repository to find all the projects, close to all the projects that are using Waku. Probably not the recent ones, but there's at least 100 projects uh, built on top of Waku that are available here for you to refer. You can check out the most recent ones for the most updated code bases and the most updated SDK versions. So yeah, this is a great resource. You can also find a lot of workshop recordings and stuff over here. So two great resources for you to understand Waku conceptually.
So right now we have the application running and complete in all the steps. So as you can see, we're connected to the network, the public key, and a basic interface for create a poll, add options to the poll, and also so we have some little dashboard here to see the total polls, the total votes, and the network status. So let's create a simple poll. So it's Ethereum. Okay, so it's like a simple GS bundle
It's
error.
probably store errors that pop up because of the bootstrap fleet or the node that you're using, but I hope it should work. It's just some graceful error handling that needs to be implemented. But yeah, it still works. And my proposal for contributing this to this project would be replacing the your ID part that's right below create polls with the Ethereum address, so that you get to use your Ethereum address rather than a randomly generated uh, hash.
Yes, and right now is we go to see the logs in the console. We can see that the pool created successfully. The post the submission was successfully to the network, the Waku network. So it take a little bit, some seconds to fetch the poll from the network, uh, like around 10-20 seconds to fetch the network. Um,
So we are
but
using store in this case, I believe, not filter.
yeah, or maybe implement like I forgot the name, optimistic updates for the UI. So maybe we can refresh a little bit.
You might have to do it again because the store query, maybe you were not connected to a store node. So I think it's better to create another poll.
Yeah, maybe it's related with storage issues. So this was by calling in I don't know, 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah. So the way that I usually used to solve this problem is by checking if I'm connected to a store node before uploading the application state. And that usually works pretty well because it just improves reliability by far if you don't have much nodes running. And that's a very simple, yeah, simple solution to solve this problem.
Yes.
But
So
I hope you
some
are
time.
connected to store nodes now because I don't see the store query error anymore. So you can probably try creating another poll, and I am expecting that it would come up this time.
So so yes.
Right. Let's. I'm just having my cursor on the drum roll sound so that I can play it right when we see the message on the active polls.
Here it comes. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Expand here. I don't know how to make how to do Summit in the console. Like, all right, yes, works. All right. Uh, yeah, basically it's related with these stores of the or with fetching the application because in the example it's working, of course.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, you can just
it's
demonstrate
working.
it over here.
It's working here in the personal application.
Yeah,
So
could be
this
because of the notes. The Claude setup might have, you know, it might have taken different nodes from the network, and the nodes that you actually use for deployment might be different. And these reliability issues are usually because, like in most of the cases, because of the uh, node that you're connected to. If you're not connected to a store node, and if you make a store query to it, it's yeah. So the way to solve this would be to load the application state after you check if you've connected to a store node. Or in case you don't need a store node, you can check if you're connected to a filter node. Yeah. I'm gonna, if you're gonna press that vote button, vote over there, I'm going to play the drum roll just for the sake of it because we're still successful. It works on production. This is the funniest part. It works on production, and it does not work locally. This is one of those rare occasions.
These
yes.
things happen. We're counting this as a win.
Okay.
So Java the integration is working because in the verse lab was the first poll that I sent in the with localhost in this client. So because we're using the same channel, the same
Oh,
proto channel.
can I try voting it from my side? Can you send me the link to it? Maybe
Oh
I can try
yes.
voting it. Maybe it works. All right, I'm going in.
Me too.
Yeah, it catching the votes here.
Oh, I don't see your poll over here. Uh, Maybe I can try creating one as well. Oh yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, it takes some seconds or even minutes to fetch the data.
Yeah, I did vote, and it says one vote for me. I also see your new poll is Waku for data communications in my side. It works for me. So it's probably just that
I can see the poll here too. So what should we do?
I can't see anything on my end. Oh, I can see it
it
now.
just takes a couple of seconds to come up. Uh,
I see.
until yeah, maybe if Lewis refreshes, he should see one vote over there because I'm sure my vote went out. Yeah, it just takes a bit of time. And all of these things can be handled in the application state because this is more of a UX. I mean, obviously the reliability can be improved, but it can also be
Yeah, we can improve
handled,
the UX a little
yeah,
bit
it
more.
can be handled by the UX to a good extent.
Oh, it's here. Yeah, it's
Okay,
fetching
yeah.
the
You see
polls.
my vote on the no, not this one. Maybe it's just
It's
loading up.
coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's coming.
it's coming. And I also see the vote that you've made from the local host, the one that you made, the poll that you made from that one. I can see that
All
over
right.
in my screen. So it was successful, but it's just that it's different for all of us. Oh, I can.
I just created a poll. Let me know if you guys can see it.
It's here right now. It's Waku for data communication and is Ethereum based on
Yeah,
proof of stake.
that's not mine. That's not mine.
That's the one that Lewis made from the local hosts.
No, that's not mine. Mine is which
That's
is
my
better.
USD.
Which mine is which
Yeah.
is better, iPhone or Samsung?
It's not here yet.
I
Oh
I'm
just
yeah.
guessing it
created
doesn't
one.
work
It's
on
Press.
your
I'm gonna
system.
press my vote for which is better.
I just created one. It is, where would you rather vacation? Option A, Moldova. Option B, Transnistria.
I cannot see anything here. Let me refresh.
Yep, I can see
Ah,
is Waku for data communications has 2 votes. Yes. I'm gonna play the drum rolls now. I've been holding up for a long time. It works. It works.
okay.
It can be improved, but it works.
Also, the community can contribute to the repo and improve the manage of the vote and the polls. Maybe implementing some optimistic updates for the UI UX.
Exactly. That's
Now,
that's
there's a
pretty
call to
great for
action.
a project that you've made within 60 minutes. So that's still a win.
Now, I'm not explicitly suggesting anyone do this, but let's say someone is inspired by Luis's repo and work here and perhaps has some additions to the functionality that they would like to implement and perhaps submit in the hackathon. Now, I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying that's one option available.
Yeah, you already know what
Stand
to
on the
implement.
shoulders of giants.
Yeah, you can just add in the Ethereum identity part, and you might just change the UI, and it probably looks like a completely different app. But yeah, we're not suggesting you do it, but I'm just for the record. Yeah.
This is not a suggestion.
All right. I think we are 10 minutes over time. But that was a great live coding or vibe coding session that we had with Lewis today. And we are looking forward to have another one with one of our interns in the next week. So yeah, stay tuned until the next week. And for the closing notes, I would like to bring up the hackathon link again to the screen. We have bounties worth $8,000 up for grabs. You can get to know more about the hackathon at fundingthecommons.io/hackathon. Also, feel free to join our Discord if you have any questions. I'm going to put up the Discord QR code over here. We have the logos Discord. You can uh, scan the QR code on the top left to join the logos Discord. And we also have the Waku Discord where we have Waku contributors looking forward to help you. So, two amazing places to be at for the next couple of weeks during the hackathon and even beyond. But yeah, that's pretty much it. On the closing note, I would like to show an article which was published by one of our interns, Lanian, about the history of Waku, how it started as Whisper and how it evolved to be the Waku of today. This is a really cool blog post that you can check out if you're interested to know more about the history of Waku. So, yeah, that's pretty much it from all of us uh, today. And we would love to see you in the next week's space.
Subscribe to the Logos channel, visit logos.co, sign up for the hackathon, follow us on X at logos_network. Follow all the brand new interns. We'll see you all very soon. Thank you, Guru. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Khadija. Thank you, Lanian.
Thanks all.
Thank you
Have a
so
great
much.
week.
Thank you, folks.